Hey everybody, welcome to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also is starting to panic because I have to get so much stuff packed in the next week and a half. Nervous breakdown. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and I'm not kidding. I've been through about half my office here, and I got stuff all over in here. And then of course I keep stuff in another room too for all the reviews, the production equipment, the filming and all that. And I am freaking out because, like I told you guys last week, we're moving. We're actually getting on the road and doing that big tour we talked about. And let me say a huge thank you to all of you guys out there who started to put a bunch of recommendations down in the comment section below last week of where we and me should be going. Because we'll be on the road from pretty much after Operation Irene. We're gonna start off there, which is October 9th, that weekend. And for the next month, we'll be kind of making a trip up and around to the Northeast and then eventually coming down the I-95 corridor down the Eastern Seaboard and then ending up in November 7th that weekend in Barnwell, South Carolina for Faded Giant, which is put on by American Milsim. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to get my collection of guns down to like a tour size gun collection. It is crazy. I'm going to carry like maybe 4 or 5 with me, so it's really tough to kind of pare the collection down. The rest are going to get in storage for the most part. I think my teammates have picked over most of them and called dibs. But yeah, it's kind of nuts. I've got a lot of stuff to get finished in a week and a half. But I'm still going to be rocking and rolling with the videos, the reviews, and the gameplay like I promised. Yes, that is right. I'm putting it out there because you guys would kill me if I didn't do it. The gameplay starts this week anyway, so stay tuned on Friday. And last week, if you guys didn't watch, I did a review on this guy. This is a gas blowback UMP45 by Elite Force Umarex, and I put the review up. I was something normally I wouldn't have picked up, even though I absolutely love the UMP. And this one's going to be coming with me, actually. I'm going to do a little CQB action. I think this will be a lot of fun as I hit some indoor fields around the country and put a little challenge around it, I guess. But yeah, that's going on. Like I said, stay tuned. I will have a full list, or at least the first half of the list, of where we're going to be for the first few weeks next Mondays, which will be the last Mondays in this studio. So I'll be announcing the first half, which should be like Ohio, Indianapolis, or Indiana. Let's see, probably on up maybe into New York State, like the western side, like Buffalo area, and then on maybe Connecticut, Vermont. I think that's going to be kind of the first part of the tour. The second half, which would be like Massachusetts and on the way down, like Rhode Island, things like that, all the way down to South Carolina, will be the second half. I should know that in a week after that. So the first Mondays we're on the road, I'll be announcing where we're going to be for there. But stay tuned. Keep your eyes and ears peeled right here for see if I'll be stopping at your local field or your shop. And even though I'm announcing I'll be in certain cities and certain shops, I'm going to try to pop my heads into other shops that you guys recommend. So if you have a place I want to go that's in that Northeast area, basically Ohio, East, all the way up to Maine, and all the way down to South Carolina and that big block, let me know in the comment section below. But aside from that, it's time to jump on into what you guys are here for, and that is your questions. Dr. Creepypasta writes, "Hey Jonathan, I have a quick question about dry firing. Is dry firing bad for your gun? If it is, how bad is it for the gun, and how does it affect the gun?" So I think with dry firing, there are various levels of bad. The worst you could do is gas blowback pistols. Those are going to be probably the most susceptible to dry firing, especially the CO2 ones, just because of the way they're designed and a lot of power in a CO2 powerlet. So when I say bad, you could put a few hundred shots of dry fire and probably take the equivalent of a few thousand or more shots of not dry fire off the life of that pistol. In fact, I've even seen people break them and never even get them on the field because they're just sitting there dry firing them in their house. So terrible for gas blowback pistols, especially CO2. A little less bad, but still pretty darn bad. I'd say like well over 50% bad for gas blowback pistols. For rifles, I would say it's a little bit the same depending on the gun, how the recoil system's set up like that. Honestly, I really wouldn't do anything in the gas blowback category dry firing. You definitely want to have BBs just because of the way these guns are designed. They're designed to have a little bit of back pressure and that BB going down the barrel. It doesn't seem like it's much, but it does mean a lot when it comes to the way these things work between the balance of the gas it sends down the barrel versus the balance of the gas it sends to recoil the system inside, whether it's the bolt or the slide or whatever. So that's one thing. For AGs, a little less so. You're gonna be smacking the front of your cylinder head with your piston head. Some guns have metal on metal, like a metal piston head and metal cylinder head. Those can be a little rough. If you have like a silver pad in there to kind of handle the recoil, it can be a little better. So those are it'll wear your gun down a little more, but it's not like end of the world bad. But I still don't personally do it. I do dry fire at the very end of games just to clear my gun, but that's about it. And then on the very low end of the scale is going to be your HPA guns. Those, I mean, they're just really bulletproof when it comes down to the guns. So those, you're probably okay to dry fire those. Not too much issue there. Preston Props writes, just wondering what's your opinion on seal softers. I'm not talking about the 3-day-a-week practices. I'm talking about huge operations and hours of practice each day. You know what? If they enjoy doing it, I'd say knock it out, man. I mean, who am I to bum on someone's fun hobby? I wish I had time to practice airsoft more. I mean, a lot of times I'm just going out, I play locally to practice for bigger events, and I find myself rusty all the time. Even though I'm surrounded by it day in and day out, it's still hard to really build that team cohesion. So is it a bad thing? No, man. I think it's awesome that these people have time to get together and put these teams together and practice to that level, to be that coherent of a team. I'm kind of jealous. And the same thing for guys. I know speed softers get a lot of hate, but there's a lot of skill, believe it or not, a lot of skill that goes into speed softing. And on both sides, people may look at it on the outside and go, oh, they're just hosing people down, ready to fire. Or in the seal softers, oh, they're just spending thousands of dollars on gear just to run around and play in an urban facility that they've spent $500 plus to go to the game for. But either one, there is some skill involved. So when it comes to what I think about it, I think it's awesome that people have that much passion in this hobby and in this sport to go out and do what they love. Special Ops Airsoft writes, does your wife airsoft too? Because dang, that's a huge commitment. Not even once. She hasn't even set a single foot out on the field. I may try to lure her in on this tour, but I'll tell you right now, guys, it's probably very, very doubtful it's going to happen. I mean, she's not prissy by any means. I mean, she's grew up kind of tomboyish, and she's, you know, been professional, corporate minded for a long time, but and very outdoorsy. I mean, she loves to get out and hike and camp and all that stuff. But when it comes to airsoft, that's really my thing. It's kind of been my hobby, my fun little getaway. You know, some guys have the garage, they go and they work on their cars, and, you know, some guys go play golf. For me, it's go out and play airsoft. So will you see her on the battlefield? I would say if you do, it's going to be incredibly rare moments. So get your cameras out, take a photo of it. But aside from that, Amy, who my wife, by the way, is named Amy, you're probably not going to see Amy out there in the battlefield anytime soon. Jake writes, my friend refuses to wear Eye or Face Pro. How do I get him to wear at least Eye Pro? I knew what you were getting at, Jake. I saw the post from last week as well. I would refuse to play with him, period. I mean, if he's out there playing without it, that is the most reckless, incredibly ignorant thing I can imagine. And you can like post this video to your friend and let him know. It is horrible that he is doing that. I mean, there's one thing we have in this hobby that is the #1 rule, and right behind it is call your hits, but above call your hits is wear freaking eye protection. So yeah, I would refuse to play with him ever again. I mean, go find a new friend. I mean, he is going to get hurt one of these days. Now, not wearing Face Pro, I've gone out and not wearing Face Pro, so I can't really bag on him. If you're playing really close CQB, I'd highly recommend doing it, because I've got enough scars kind of tucked away in odd parts of my neck and whatever from doing that. But yeah, when it comes to iPro, I'd refuse to play with him, because that is incredibly, incredibly irresponsible. Graham Williams writes, are foam-filled airsoft silencers illegal? So the short answer is yes, but it's really more about intent. So the ATF doesn't want anything that can be modified or used to suppress the sound of a real firearm. And that's why when you get to airsoft suppressors like this one here, this is a Griffin Armament one made by PTS. This is their M4 SD2, and it has a plastic tube that runs down the middle. This is the PTS version for the US market. So this is US compliant. Also, the cap here at the end is fused on. You can't get it off. I mean, I've tried. But it really comes down to intent. If your intent is to put it on a real firearm, then you are definitely in the felony category there. But if your intent is for airsoft use, it's probably not. It's a really gray area. I've never heard of any person, any individual being sought after for a foam-filled suppressor. However, I have heard of, and I know of companies that have had their doors knocked on by the ATF when they had foam suppressors in their warehouse in the US. So, and it's just a US thing. There are other countries where it's not a big deal at all. It's no problem. So yeah, when it comes down to it, the core of the law is, yeah, they are illegal in the US according to the ATF. Insidious Airsoft Kansas writes, what about all the reviews and how are people going to send you stuff? So yeah, you're talking about me being on the road. I've been working on an incredibly huge backlog of review videos, so I'll have plenty to put up while we're on the road. Quite a few have been killing myself doing it over the past week or two, and I'm still gonna be killing them over the next week to get them all out. And I'll still be able to shoot on the road. Actually, I have a portable green screen. The lights that are here that you are off camera, you can probably see it shining on my hand here, and this one over here. Both of those are portable LEDs, so I can put batteries on them, and I can shoot in the trailer, so I can still do the green screen stuff. And for the most part in the RV, I've got enough room to pack some stuff. I'm trying to get all the big gun reviews that I have in the queue out of the way, so anything I have over the next few months will be knocked out. And then most of the stuff will be like smaller items like accessories, and I can release them over the course of the next few months. I also have someone that's gonna be handling my mail here and actually forwarding anything we're getting in for reviews. And then as we move on from our trip, I know I've been talking about the Northeast, we are gonna move to the West Coast for a bit, so I'll be able to actually visit the shops and a lot of my the partners I work with to get reviews, like the big companies, the manufacturers, distributors. So I'll be able to stop by there and actually in person either pick them up for review or get them, borrow them for a while and return them. So yeah, we're gonna still be right on schedule. Fear not, reviews are gonna be hard and heavy through as far as I'm doing Airsoftology. Well guys, that is it for questions this week, which means it's time for the Code Red Headsets video recommendation of the week. And this one is a channel I've been following for a very long time. In fact, I may have even highlighted one or two of the videos of this channel a long time ago, like one of the early Airsoftology Mondays, about a year back. And it is from Beatdown Boogie, and it's called Hang 'em High Rules, the name of the video. And this is a spaghetti Western, kind of like the old like 1970s Westerns take on the Legend of Zelda characters. So you have like Zelda, you have Link, and you have Ganon in here as well. So it's really kind of cool. The pacing is fantastic. It's a great shooting. I mean, I just can't go on with the character development and the costumes. I know it's not an Airsoft video, but I like to share all the videos I enjoy and the channels I subscribe to, because it's not always Airsoft I'm watching 24/7 every single day, even though it's the bulk of my Airsoft or bulk of the videos I watch. But there's some great channels out there, including this one. Beatdown Boogie's the channel, and the guy that runs the channel's name's Micah Moore, fantastic director. He does a lot of stuff with this. He also does all the anime convention stuff, like kind of cosplay music videos, and then of course you guys may be familiar with his Mario Warfare videos, and then his Metal Gear Solid meets Call of Duty Modern Warfare mashup. I think that was really the first one that got him really on the map, and then of course the Mario Warfare came later, and that really just blew up the channel. So yeah, check it out if you guys have a chance. I'll have a link to the video in the description below. Well guys, that's it for this week's video, and there's one more in the studio here before we do Mondays on the road. So yeah, it's gonna be a big change. You can see a different background. And before I forget, I do have some new ones on the way, but this is it. This is all I've got. What you see here, these little stacks, these are all the patches I have left for sale. So if you guys have been holding out for a yellow patch, I'm not reordering yellow. So this is it for yellow. If you guys haven't picked it up, you need to get them. There's only a few left. I think I got like 12 left, and they'll be on the store at airsoftology.com/store. Also, stay tuned for the listing of where we're gonna be next week, so you'll know on the tour we'll be stopping for the first half of the tour. And if you guys didn't get a chance to check it out, watch the UMP 45 review video I did. I'll have a link somewhere probably up here in the corner, or maybe right next to the video or something like this, to take you right over to it. But guys, I will see you next week for the last show in this studio, but not the last show for good, because Mondays is gonna keep on going. But until then, go out, play some Airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.